All right, everybody, welcome back to Unsealed, the official podcast of Wings of the Eagle. Christopher Manti is me, your humble host. Humble, anyways. I want to hear from you, whether you're watching this or listening or whatever. Please just let me know. If you're on Spotify or whatever, checking this out later, no interaction for you right now. But if you are participating live on YouTube or X, even Instagram today, give me a shout. Let me know you're there, who you are. If you have a question, comment, or whatever, that is fine. Please feel free to do so and share. Most of all, please hit the share button and get this in front of more people. Okay, that would be awesome and a great way to help. But you can also support us directly. If you see the bottom of the screen there, if you're watching, support Unsealed at wingsoftheeagle.com/support Unsealed, or go to the store page on that website, and you're going to find 4 books by yours truly and many other things that you can get in exchange for supporting what we do here at Wings of the Eagle. So please, please, please do that and pray about that if you are apt to do that. So thank you so much. You can also become a member on YouTube, on the Wings of the Eagle YouTube channel, or on the X platform. I am on X at Manti4, MANTEI4. You see that right there. All right, let's go. Hey, Sharon. Bless God. Look at that. See, YouTube has done its thing properly and has notified you. Tremendous. I'm so thankful for you, my friend. And another from many miles away. She likes Arthur C. Clarke. Yeah, he's a cool dude, writer, scientist type. Obviously, he's not with us anymore, but very famous author. And he made a quote where he said a statement, 1962. I should know. I put it in the description. It's from a book he wrote back in the early 60s. And it's profound because I think it has played out, and it is playing out and is about to play out, I figure, in a much more extreme way. When he said, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And if you say, that's whatever, that's ridiculous. Well, imagine somehow you could, let's say you could travel back in time and you took your iPhone or your Android, whatever tech you have in your pocket, and went and visited George Washington or Abraham Lincoln. I mean, go 100 years beyond that. That was only 150 years ago, Abe Lincoln. In the span of time, that's nothing. Heck, you go back to my grandparents' generation, and this thing would seem downright magical. I mean, maybe they'd understand it a little, perhaps, just starting to understand, like, oh yeah, I've heard of these things they're thinking about, building in these massive rooms that could process things called computers, right? Or microchips and all that stuff was just being thought of, but yet you have a fully functional thing that you can literally talk to people on the other side of the world. My son is traveling the other halfway across the country right now. I'm literally watching him on this. So, like, pretty magical stuff for someone who never was exposed to it. Makes sense. But like we had been talking about the past few weeks, and I encourage you to go check out the hypothesis, okay? The full 4 parts. It's split up into 4 individual parts, but then also all together in one. And part of that hypothesis is that there are human beings with super advanced technology operating in the world right now. Not human beings, not a country you're aware of. Not a super secret Delta force in the military or the CIA or something. No, different than all of that. But possibly, if any society were to have a huge advantage, even 100-year advantage in technology, can you imagine what that would look like? If somehow there was a parallel society, so not another race of beings, just humans. Just say you branched off and you had your own way to keep yourself, and you were private and you made your own advances, and maybe you had a great head start, but you're just very much ahead of the rest of the world. And even if you had 100-year advantage, what would your tech look like today? Right? If we were just the normal pace, but then there was this other one with a 100-year advantage. Look at the rate that we're going. It's exponential growth in terms of AI and all of that. That's just 100 years. What if they had a 1,000-year advantage? What if they had thousands of years of an advantage? Just saying. That would produce technology, and the word is very vague, right? Technology could mean anything. It doesn't have to be a physical device or a craft, someplace to get you somewhere, or to use like for your entertainment or for your work. It could be something other than that. It could, AI, or you name it. Something you invent, you make. That's technology. Right? Anything. So imagine that. And a lot with this, the worlds are colliding as far as the spiritual world, which I know as a Christian, I know there are spiritual realities. What does that mean? There's such things as spirits, right? I have a spirit. God is a spirit. God is a spirit. The Holy Spirit. He's also a man named Jesus. And obviously we're in the middle of this, what we call a Holy Week, and remembering all that stuff in the Bible. Many millions and millions and millions of people are. But there's a neglected side of that book. Usually it's called the supernatural side, or the unseen realm aspects, and the understanding of the authors who wrote the book, or that God used to write that book, all had a very concrete understanding of this, what we would call the spiritual world, which there are non-human beings all over the place, right? Around you, basically, or in what we call heaven, or these places, or dimensions, or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff. So we know that as a Christian, but there's also miracles in the Bible, and there's demons, there's angels and demons, there's goods and bads, and we know that. And there's some interaction, not a lot, but there's some interaction between them, biblically speaking, and in your everyday life, you may have had interactions, good or bad, with that kind of stuff. But then there's also this other side of it, which is us human beings can create things that, to someone who is ignorant, who doesn't know, it's not an insult, it's just someone who doesn't know how things work, or don't realize what's possible with things we can make. You're ripe for deception. You can be totally tricked into a lot of things, but basically thinking supernatural events are happening when they are not supernatural. If you went back to George Washington and told him we can go to the moon today, you might get a lot of very sideways glances And either you're totally crazy, or you're evil, or you're using, the devil's tools or something. But it's still true, and it's not evil to go into space. But there we are. So again, that might, if you told someone that seems like only a supernatural being could do that. But no, we're just humans. So anyway, it's possible that we're witnessing this right now. And I see comments. Please continue to comment, you guys. I'll get to them in a second. What is really disturbing, to be honest with you, to me about this the most is when the lines are very, very blurry. And it's just not cool. Okay. I'm talking about mimicry. Not a new phenomenon, but to most people, it is new. Most folks have never even heard of this term, or think it's some kind of philosophical statement, or play acting. Oh yeah, I act like someone else, or I put on a mask, therefore I'm mimicking them. Okay, but more advanced than that. Way more advanced. To the point where you could convince a person that of all kinds of stuff that isn't right. like who you are, or what you're doing, or what you're traveling in, or etc. All that is up for grabs. And with this issue of mimicry, you have examples. I mean, again, going back decades, and if you read Jacques Vallée, and if you read John Keel, and if you're familiar with all that, and then with your own eyes, possibly the past where I live, and a lot of people in America, especially because we're paying attention, or it's concentrated here because maybe our power nationally, or our technology level, or whatever, I don't know. But something's messing with us. So where I live, my state, back in November and December, and it's still happening, by the way, but really when people were paying attention and getting a lot of videos and things, mystery drones I'm talking about, okay, mystery drones. And it's the more you're paying attention, the more you're seeing how the truth is starting to come out. And none of it makes sense. I mean, none of the explanations that we've been given from any place makes sense. From the government, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, whether it be presidential level, local law enforcement, FAA, individual companies, you name it. There's no answers. How could you not? Like I just told you, I can, and this is just any consumer technology. Anybody with money to buy this and have a service on it can see, and literally someone across anywhere in the world. I have a tracker app, a flight tracker app on this, that every time I hear a strange noise, I go and open the app and see what's flying over my house. Anybody can get this. But then there are things that aren't on the tracker app and are still flying over your house. Like, okay, well, that narrows it down. It's someone's behaving illegally, or in the black, like turning off their stuff. The ones you can do that are military. And it's not the military doing it. Again, it's somebody being completely illegal and dangerous, incredibly dangerous. Or option C, which is neither A or B. Not a government, not a private individual or company. And plus, it's not only that they're not showing up and being tracked, but you can't catch the darn things. You put lights on them. You try chasing them with helicopters, with jets, nothing, other drones, your drones, nothing works. Okay, let's try to bring them down. Basically, shoot them. Well, apparently that doesn't work either. The anti-drone technology, the stuff that we use to scramble unmanned vehicles, which is what everyone says these are. Well, I'm not everyone, but the point is, they're not behaving like something that we invented. But like, wait a minute, I'm looking at it and like, it kind of looks like a little helicopter or a little plane, like a drone might look like, right? No, it's all what that's obviously what it is. Then your brain just shuts off and goes on to the next issue. Goes, oh, like I'm not crazy. I know that's a plane or and that's what we're told. The debunkers will fly on and say, oh, you're just misidentifying stuff. Well, most people are not idiots. And some of us are grown up around airports our whole lives. Different major airports. And knows what a flipping jet looks like. And knows what, even when they're low, and what military planes look like, and what helicopters look like and sound like. And then you got these things, and you know what a drone is like. Maybe you fly them. Maybe you own one. You know what they do. On and on and on. But the disturbing data, the point that seems to be what correct and accurate right now is that there is mimicry happening. That there is a very advanced form of technology that is mimicking on purpose, pretending to be something else. And in general, that may go back all the way to the beginning of the UFO phenomenon hundreds of years ago or more. And maybe a very tidy explanation for why witnesses over the centuries basically have seen things that sometimes are amorphous, like, oh, that's just a circle, or right, a sphere, or that looks like a flat rod or a disc shape or something like that. But then sometimes it looks just like the stuff that they have at the time, like blimps, right? Like the only way to go in the air at a couple hundred years ago was a blimp. And so people saw blimps, but they weren't theirs. So this aspect is disturbing, because now it's not just a mysterious thing in the, let's say, the sky or in your yard or whatever, but it looks basically like something you'd expect to see, but it's a little off. A lot of these things are a little off, and maybe that's intentional too. Just see who will pay attention and who won't. I don't know, but I might have seen one. My research partner in this adventure may well. I'm pretty positive she did. And this was just several weeks ago. And people all over the place are doing it. And again, this is serious. We're talking about not just freaking people out in their house, which is serious enough. I have children. Thank you very much. So don't be flying over my house. But we're talking nuclear weapons facilities. The Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey, which has some of the craziest weapons you're ever going to imagine, are in there. Bioweapons, stuff like that, like really bad stuff. And these guys are hovering over it and can't be brought down. What is that? The nuclear power plant. I have one. I mean, way too close for me. And they were there. there's been decades of examples of nuclear missile sites, silos, ICBMs. These are the ones where, oh my gosh, nuclear Armageddon, nuclear war, strike Russia right this second. Those places, same things for a long time. So maybe you've seen it, or maybe you've seen videos of them. Max, what is that exactly? That almost, it's going right over somebody's yard or whatever, and you get video and you have audio. And I'm just, I think was this one in Poland a day or two ago, and I said it was off-putting. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Like, to some people, that's the most freakish sound, right? Because when you see this and you hear it, it looks kind of like a helicopter, but with the lights in the wrong place. And the sound is like a plane, but also like a helicopter at the same time. It's weird. Okay, it's not normal. It's not normal. And then plus, sometimes you see them do stuff that they can't do. I mean, we don't know how to do it. The angles and without banking, turning, and stuff like that. It's just like, what is that? And then when you try to chase them, again, we have tons and tons of examples of this. They fly off over the ocean, and then they're gone. So whatever the source of that is, apparently the plan is right now to intentionally make it look like other stuff. So who knows what the reason is? Could be a bunch of different reasons. But the fact that it can be done like that is disturbing. And some people have seen them change shape, change form from a drone into a jet, into something, into an orb. What is that? Now, that's supernatural almost, isn't it? I mean, to your average person, that is a supernatural event. They don't think that's a spiritual thing. It must be. Now, some of you watching will say, yep, that's supernatural. That's spiritual. There's no way that's a physical thing. But that's no way that's human technology. Well, again, some people have told me flat out, Christian friends on Twitter, X, whatever, just I share this one particular, I don't remember even what the thing was. And they're like, yep, this is the supernatural manifesting. And nobody here, by the way, if it sounds similar to something like someone watching right now, I don't think they're watching. But the point is, generally, is the conviction right away is this is a supernatural event. Like this is some kind of demonic or spirit manifesting in the sky just because it looks weird. Well, that's lazy. I mean, that's just really lazy. That's not showing our understanding of the Bible or our spirituality. Now, this is just the same as folks who don't believe any of that religious stuff, but are very all about the self and self-empowerment and evolution and new agey stuff. Say the same types of things. Oh, this is a spiritual meaning, and this is about my ascension and my this and human that, and love and light and truth. And wow, look at them do that. And both of those explanations or conclusions are very lazy. There's no actual thinking going on there. And that's not discernment. It's not. So the point is, at some point, we're going to, if just going by the Bible story, right, by the what's coming up in our drama here on the earth, is some crazy stuff is going to be happening. And the Bible calls it miracles or false miracles, false signs, and lying wonders, right? Paul would say that, and Revelation describes that. Even Jesus describes things like that. So, like, well, what does it mean false? Like, means it coming from they're lying about being from God and they're actually evil, doing legit miracles, supernatural stuff, or are they just lying and saying they're miracles when they're not, nothing but technology? Right? That's possible. So be on the lookout for that. And let's not assign, speaking to the Christians now, the end times peoples especially, let's not give Satan or the enemy, fallen angels, etc., demons, don't give that side any powers that they don't have. They may not. And I know, if you look at some of my teachings from 10 years ago, I might have struck a different tone with this, just coming down. Yes, it's a miracle, a supernatural power that they have, or whatever it seems to a human to be miraculous, but it's kind of saying the same thing, which is maybe it's when it says false or lying wonders. I mean, maybe it's really not a wonder. Maybe it's just because they know stuff that you don't. Jesus turning the water into wine is not a technological event, is it? Right? Like, or walking on water, maybe you can say that, I don't know. Rising from the dead, not a technological event. So he did things that you can't fake, or even with technology. Maybe that's what the enemy's plan is, to try to figure out how to replicate that. I don't know. Point being, okay, if we're looking at advanced technology seeming supernatural, and we might be looking at that in our skies, for example, and our oceans right now. We don't have to wait for the end, the final 7 years of the age. And it doesn't mean those things have begun. It just means that there might be another technological level that we have no other way to explain it, way to compartmentalize it in our brains, other than that must be not real. Like, I didn't see that. Let's just move on. Or something ethereal and spiritual, like, wow, what does, like a vision, or you're right, not something that was actually there. It was just, I just saw something in some kind of spiritual way. You're kind of splitting it in half there. You're kind of not disbelieving it completely. Well, something happened, but you're not ready to say it was a real thing. Or there's a real thing that's so far beyond our comprehension to understand that it seems like it must be a supernatural thing, or a miracle, or magic, like Arthur C. Clarke would say, when it's not. All right. I think it's about all I have to say about that. It's a really creepy subject, to be honest with you. All right. What do we got going on here, guys? Your turn. Bondservant, of course. She's always thinking this one. Glad you're talking about this. Well, thank you. She says, I was going to send a question about how this UFO phenomenon will play out more, and about how much credence we should give to it in the end time stuff. Hopefully I addressed that a little bit. Bondservant says, how far do you think God would let mankind go with this tech? All the way to the Tower of Babel level. Now, whatever that, right? And I'm just going by history. I don't know what that means. I don't know what level they got to that God would intervene like he did. I would think it'd be an extreme level. The divergence arise from the ocean. Is this an Arthur C. Clarke reference? I don't know. But watch the ocean for sure. For sure. I think it's, now that I'm thinking of it. Hang on. There's a lot of people are getting excited, I guess. Last night, I think it was, I just woke up to a space telescope saw or detected, I feel like I've read this before, like we've heard this before, a planet that's not too, I mean, as far as the universe goes, it's a close planet. They call it an exoplanet. like 100 light years away or something, has this what they call a biosignature. It's a gas. They detected a gas that, in our limited opinion, we should preface always that by saying that, but we don't, because scientists always go off the deep end, think we know everything. They say that can only be produced by life forms. That gas. Okay. Okay. Anyway, and people are getting excited about that. Like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the explanation behind UFOs, is a planet 100 light years away with a biosignature of a gas. I don't care even if that's true. They're already here. Whatever it is, it's already here. You don't need to discover things 100 light years away and, oh my gosh, maybe there's something there. One day they'll come visit us. Whatever it is, they're here now. In the ocean. Our oceans, for example. Okay. And Bondserver says, just learned about some drone project going over your area and other areas. Have you heard about that? It's supposed to be a detection system of sort. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, not the question. What you're talking about is it just completely contradicts everything you were told the past 3 months. Which is by the government, which is the FAA has this new detection system, apparently, that they're going to deploy around, I guess, New Jersey or whatever, I don't know, to be able to detect things that we can't now, or better know the quote unquote mystery drones and well, I thought Donald Trump told us they were all approved by the FAA. Well, he lied. Just like Biden lied before. To me, a true lie means you know the truth and you say something else on purpose. Even if you think it's for a good reason, that's a lie. And it's not okay. Maybe they just, my guess is neither of those presidents have any clue what they are and are being told what to say and are going along because they are impressionable. And so we're told untruths. But anyway, the point is, if they were FAA approved and we know exactly what all those mystery drones were, then why do we need detection systems by the FAA? To look at their own stuff that they already approved? Come on. It's whatever. Considering my answer to that is, Bondservant, considering the responses in the past, not just few months, but years now, going on years, whether it's in before all this stuff in Jersey, with out in the Great Britain and the UK, our bases there, their bases there. There's stuff that just came out. Thank God for Chris Sharp, people who actually do journalism. They said they tried. They documented how they tried to bring them down, and the systems they have wouldn't work. Not just were ineffective, but wouldn't turn on. And again, this is something we've heard before in the lore. So considering they easily evade, outpace, outgun, out everything we've got, I don't think this FAA, whatever this is going to mean anything at all. A nice little show, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, what are we trying to detect exactly? I thought we knew what they were. This is kind of like the word game that we're being fed by all the way back through the decades. But with Arrow today, even though this is supposed to be some kind of advancement and all this, we're really going to get to the bottom of it with Arrow. I roll. AARO, Arrow, right? It's right in the name. The deception is right in the name. They have no interest in the truth, in exposing anything. They want to resolve all domain anomaly resolution office. You can't resolve something that is unexplained. You can't resolve something that you don't own or no other country owns. You can't ever resolve it, not without admitting other things. So there will be, anyways, you see my point. Hopefully you do. All right, guys, that's adequate for today. I've got to fly here. Not in a mystery zone, in a car. We love you so very much. Please do support this podcast. Please, please, please. We need your help. Not a joke. There is no big anything or money or companies or churches or anything behind this podcast. Nothing. It's y'all. Okay. Us all together. Really, truly. I know there's a lot of bigger podcasters with way bigger audiences and reach and influence, but they don't need your help. We do. So you know. All right. Share this, please. Much obliged. See you next time. But for now, Christopher Manti for Wings of the Eagle, the Unsealed podcast when technology seems supernatural. Keep an eyeball out or two. See you next time.